Welcome back to the video. Today we're going to talk about SideChains, Mithril, and C.I.Ps and some other stuff that's going on in Cardano. We're going to talk about it. Let's get it. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you coming to watch the video. Today we're going to talk about SideChains on Cardano, C.I.Ps, Mithril, and some other stuff that's going on in Cardano, a planned hard fork that's scheduled for February, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get it. So IOG is planning to launch a SideChain toolkit preview coming January 2023, which is this month. So by the end of the month, I think that's going to come out alongside of DJET. But this SideChain toolkit is supposed to help developers develop an ecosystem that works in conjunction with Cardano. So they have an Ethereum virtual machine that's going to also come out at the same time to run along, so that way developers get a better understanding of how interoperable Cardano will be with SideChains and how secure it will be, and the benefits that it will grant any developer that wants to build a sidechain on the Cardano blockchain. So this article in total is about a 7-minute read. We're not going to go through the whole article. We're going to talk about only the key factors and then get to the point later on in the video. So getting right into the nitty gritty, let's talk about sidechains, the toolkit. A sidechain is simply a blockchain that depends on the main chain and is connected to it. The toolkit allows a sidechain to have its own consensus algorithm and features. The sidechain is connected to the main chain through a bridge that allows asset transfer between the chains. The finality of blocks is determined through consensus mechanism that relies on the security of the main chain. So meaning that the consensus and everything else, the security must come from the main chain before anything else can happen. So that means there's a good chance that the script will be held on the main chain, and then on the side chain we'll have the actual smart contract, right? And there's going to be an in-between layer to make sure that both chains are running in conjunction with one another. Main chain Pluto scripts. These scripts run on Cardano's main chain, enable secure cross-chain transactions and token movement, and leverage minting policy to support the SideChains tokens. A chain follower. This is important. The chain follower tracks main chain data and events that govern the sidechain. In the V1 tool release, this is a Cardano DB-Sync instance. So the main chain follower is going to make sure that the main chain, which is Cardano, and the sidechain are working in conjunction with each other and on the same scope, so to speak. The sidechain module. This is the part of the sidechain client. It interprets the main chain's data and implements the necessary ledger at adoption, right? And then they give like a nice little graphic. So then the website's article goes into more detail about the toolkit, and it gives example of what is going to be available to developers. Right, move data and assets between the main chain and custom sidechains, support various consensus protocols, ledger rules, and languages. Secure sidechains launches, secure small chains, allow experiments, incubation, and research. The EVM sidechain application is still being audited and will be available as a public testnet later on this year, in January. Developers will be able to try it out by running a few Solidity applications to get a feel for its potential. DApp developers using the EVM sidechain should take note that data needs to be considered final on the main chain before it's moved to the sidechain. So there will be an EVM for developers to play with, and a few Solidity scripts will be able to be ported over to be used on the sidechain, and they're letting people know what's going on ahead of time. So they're still work in progress. So let's look for this toolkit to be released maybe end of second quarter, beginning of third quarter of this year. Probably by the third quarter of this year, be done. So we're looking maybe September. Then it goes on to list the components within the sidechain and its features and what's going to happen. So there's going to be interoperability, scalability, testability, compatibility, and then some details for SPOs and DApp users. So let's take a look at what's going to be offered to SPOs. Sidechains offer an opportunity to SPOs by allowing their pools. Sidechains offer an opportunity to SPOs by allowing their pools to award more tokens than just ADA if they decide to also run a sidechain node. These sidechain-specific tokens can serve different purposes, in turn attract delegators to participate in the network. Depending on how rewards are set up on the sidechains block creators can reward with new tokens for bringing blocks, validating them, and contributing to the network security. Any Cardano SPO can choose to also validate blocks on sidechains. If they do, they may benefit from extra revenue by providing additional services using more resources. If an SPO chooses to validate sidechain blocks, they will need to provide additional resources. So you're going to need to have larger disk space and then run a follower node and then the sidechain as well. So this is beneficial to SPOs, especially small pools, because if you're able to get onto a sidechain node, then you'll make blocks for the node, delegate, people will delegate to the pool and so forth. You'll make additional revenue as those tokens become more valuable. All right, and for DApp users, greater interoperability between chains, simplified development process, more development platforms, and reduced transaction fees tend to increase the number and variety of DApps. More Cardano sidechains means greater variety and innovation, blockchain designs, use case, and higher total staking rewards, which tend to attract more SPOs and delegate aid, consequently ensures enhanced security and greater decentralization. That's the potential of the ecosystem of sidechains. So meaning that this gives a wide array of possibilities for people who are inside the Cardano ecosystem that are going to use these DApps, and the sidechains start to evolve. It gives us more use case. It gives you more opportunities to either invest or to participate in all these decentralized applications. And finally, the conclusion. The Sidechain Toolkit is the latest delivery of Cardano's roadmap within Basho, the scaling phase. Introducing higher programmability, interoperability, scalability, sidechains development paves the way for mass adoption of Cardano by enabling much higher throughput without reduction in decentralization or security. Blockchain development can more easily create custom sidechains. Eventually, IOG hopes to see a family of Cardano sidechains and partner chains emerging. The EVM sidechain public testnet will be released in January of this year, which is by the end of the month. So they're going to release this toolkit very, very soon with the Ethereum virtual machine alongside it. The toolkit being released in January is not the complete solution. There are some known areas of importance like bridge experience, SPO reward mechanism, and security models. All these areas will be worked on within the community as we go. So they're still working on stuff, and they're going to get it together for everybody, right? And make sure that everything is working in its optimal format. And they're going to get that going. So they'll just give them a little bit more time. This is going to be released this month. People get to play with it, get to understand it, right? Actual IOG virtual machine is going to be released very soon, which is good. They made a promise to be able to be interoperable when they made this roadmap. And they also made a promise to have an Ethereum virtual machine, so that way Ethereum contracts can be ported over, or DApps can be ported over into Cardano. Then they go on to say how there's plenty of improvements that can be made, and that's true. This is all new. Remember that the Cardano development system is brand new. It's flourishing. It's starting to flower. It's starting to blossom, however you want to look at it. But it's coming along, and it's coming along at a good pace, nice and easy. I do figure by the 2024, 2025, we're going to have a nice ecosystem. So in sum, this is going to be really good for Cardano. We can have sidechains that are interoperable with the network, with the main network, Cardano, ADA specifically. And we can have our own blockchains like Avalanche and Binance Smart Chain. As a matter of fact, they'll be able to port over to Cardano and even have a better ecosystem, 10 times more secure, and maybe actually enjoy being over in Cardano's ecosystem versus Ethereum. Maybe that's the reason why Charles is pushing this toolkit and IOG is making it so they can port over. Maybe one or two of those blockchains may port over into Cardano and have a more robust ecosystem. So next up is Cardano improvement proposals. So this is where like all of the hard fork data comes in from and ideas. And this is all coming from either developers within the Cardano ecosystem that are working with IOG and IOHK, or these actual community members that are coming up with ideas and they bringing up these Cardano improvement proposals, and either they take effect or they don't. So we take a look. So we have C.I.P from 1 all the way down to 9,999. Obviously, there isn't that many. It does a hard skip after the 60s. There's some skips between the 50s, but some of these have already been added, especially in the last hard fork, right? Inline datums, reference scripts, reference inputs. But what we do need an improvement on is the wallets, right? We don't need every wallet to be justified independently for a DApp. We should have one identifier that says, okay, this is a Cardano wallet. You have this wallet. It connects to the DApp, and it just names the wallet, right? Whether it's Giro, Lace, Yoroi, and the numerous other wallets, Eternal, Nami, and so forth. There's so many wallets now. We just don't know which ones are better than the other, right? People get confused. I personally like Eternal and Giro. I do appreciate Nami, but it's not my cup of tea. I do feel more secure with Yoroi, but all my stuff's on a non-ledger device anyway, so it doesn't make a difference to me. So this is the CIPs. If you ever heard the concept in a video by somebody else, these are Cardano improvement proposals, and I'll have the link in the website if you want to go through some of them and take a look at what's being considered. And it tells you the status, whether it's active, in draft, proposed, and so forth. All right, so now we're going to talk about Mithril. So what is Mithril? Mithril is a way of scaling Cardano at faster sync times without having to actually port over the whole blockchain into a node for a wallet or whatever use case that it may be useful for later on in the future. So right now, the way wallets are working, especially light wallets, is that there's a third-party database, right? So let's just give Eternal. Eternal has, or Yoroi, or even Jira Wallet, or whichever wallet you want to talk about. They have a centralized database which pulls information as requested from the blockchain, and then it sends it over to your wallet, and vice versa. Your wallet sends information, it goes to that database, the database then sends that to the blockchain and verifies it. It all happens very fast. I know it sounds like it's tedious, but it does happen very fast. With Mithril, you take out the third-party database. And by taking out the third-party database, we no longer have a centralized system which governs the wallet. Now it makes the wallet completely decentralized. And it makes it ungovernable by third parties, which may be forced to do certain things with your wallet, which may also reduce the possibility of KYC and so forth. So if you want to become a little bit more private, I'm sure at some point in time, the US and other countries are going to require you to KYC your wallet. It might be just the order of things, just like your bank accounts, you have to do that. And if they make crypto convert from an asset class to a currency class, then it might be mandatory. But anyway, let's take a look at what the short term of Mithril. So the article is a really short read from input output. Achieving greater scalability. One of the challenges of achieving scalability and mass adoption of blockchain technology is fast and secure interaction with the chain. DApps and wallets operating on a full node can independently validate transactions in the blockchain history, providing a high level of security. However, this takes more time and requires specific software and storage requirements. So like Daedalus is a full node. It can validate transactions, do everything on its own, doesn't need any third party whatsoever. Yoroi, light wallet, it needs a third party. It needs that centralized database to do everything because it's a light wallet, right? Mobile apps also do the same thing. Light wallets need a centralized database to do everything else. With Mithril, you take that function away. It becomes more decentralized. And the Mithril function doesn't require the node or wallet, the actual wallet, to be in consensus with a whole blockchain third-party database, so that way it can retrieve the information. Mithril allows you to do so without having that junk in between. Current light wallets interactions require relying on a third party to retrieve the chain state. Current light wallet interactions require relying on a third party to retrieve the chain state. These interactions are also based on making either security or decentralized trade-offs. Mithril, on the other hand, ensures both and is capable of unlocking such use case as fast bootstrapping of a full node. A node can sync with the chain history 4 to 6 times faster than previously and as assessed on the preview testnet. Trustless light wallet. Light wallets don't need to rely on a third party to sync blockchain history. Mithril protocol enables a synchronization while relying on Cardano's main chain security properties. Efficient voting systems. Mithril enables the establishment of a high reliable and fast voting system in governance use cases. The above-mentioned use cases show that for Mithril to scale, there is a need to establish the infrastructure to support different types of data. This is where an open and collaborative development process steps in. Leveraging the power of the community will allow the development of numerous innovative applications for Mithril. Mithril will therefore provide the capability of rapidly include new types of signed data as the need arises. So Mithril is going to make headway in this ecosystem if it's capable of being made. So right now, Mithril is still in the proof of concept. They haven't had it 100% yet. There is some testing with Mithril. They do have something going on with Mithril. I can't elaborate more than that right now, but there is some functionality with Mithril and testing that I'm aware of, and hopefully they get this done this year. And if they do, it will make Cardano a very viable ecosystem. Let's take a look and hold out for Mithril. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this is going to happen very shortly. And we also have our high hopes for Hydra, right? Hydra is on its way as well. So let's see what happens in the near future. So last but not least is Cardano's cryptographic primitives will bring greater interoperability and secure cross-chain DApp development. So this is going to bring more interoperable DApps running from different chains into Cardano because of the infrastructure that, or security infrastructure that Cardano uses is not compatible with other chains right at this moment, but this upgrade is going to make the difference there. Cardano uses the Edward Curve digital signature. This gives a fast signature verification and small signature sizes, which help improve the overall performance security of the blockchain. Additionally, ED 25519 is designed to be resistant to certain types of cryptographic attacks, making it a more secure choice. Monero, Ripple, and others also use the same algorithm for digital signatures. So preparations are underway for some time across the entire Cardano ecosystem. The core engineering team of IOG and Cardano Foundation, SPOs, DApp developers, and exchanges have performed intensive integration testing on previous test environments since November 2022. With positive results, the technology is now close to being deployed on Cardano's mainnet. If you haven't known, there was a big hype about the last upgrade. It broke the legacy testnet. And that's what testnets are for, right? To test environments and to make sure everything's okay. Well, anyway, it broke the testnet, they hard forked it, and the community was in an uproar. And Charles was actually asking people to upgrade. The upgrade would have went through. Maybe there would have been some issues. They would have caught it in time. I do believe so. And things would have been all right. Developers and other members in the SPO community were not willing to do the upgrade, and they required more testing. And testing did result that there needed to be further improvements, and the improvements were made. So after this new upgrade was announced and everybody started to implement it, further testing was required before a hard fork, and they did that. They did it for months on end, and now it's ready. It's actually ready since November to now, and we're going to have an actual update 100% on the pre-production testnet first on February 11th, and then on February 14th it's going to be live. It's also going to bring some more enhancements on V2 scripts and alike. So Cardano is going to be 10 times more interoperable with this new upgrade. So get ready. Things for 2023 are going to get a lot better for this ecosystem, and you will enjoy it. You enjoy the benefits and reap the rewards. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Really appreciate you. If you like the content, hit that like button. Help the YouTube algorithm to get us out to more people. If you want to get notified every time I make a video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and be part of the Black Star family. Thank you very much for watching Black Star. We are the light in the darkness. Peace.